Hello, hi. Is it all over for Nicola Sturgeon?
Yeah, it feels like it, doesn't it? So apparently Nicola Sturgeon's approval rating has crashed from plus 50 at the height of COVID, and it's gone down to -4. Right, so this follows, of course, all of these transgender rows, which has completely engulfed the SNP. They tried to put through their gender recognition reform bill. That was rejected by the UK government. And then, of course, there was the case of Isla Bryson, who is a male rapist, Adam Graham, who then decided to identify as a woman, and Nicola Sturgeon was remanding him in a female prison, and then talking about whether he should be moved completely to a female prison. And this has kind of exposed the problem, hasn't it, Josh, with gender ideology within the SNP, or more broadly?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the subtitle of that trans book, you know, when ideology meets reality. And that's what's happened over the last week or so. And there was that amazing interview where Nicola Sturgeon just couldn't answer what is a woman. I mean, it was amazing. She was just totally flabbergasted. And it was fantastic.
Well, I think that's what's happened. Like today, for instance, we've had the Let Women Speak event in Glasgow, and this is in, I think it's in George Square in Glasgow. There's been all these people gathering. We might have some footage of that coming up if we can get hold of that. But it's been very interesting because we've seen all of these feminists. I mean, they're out there today, but they've been warning about this for many, many months, for a long, long time now. Nicola Sturgeon actually said, well, their arguments have no merit. That was the phrase she used. And now, of course, she's had to accept that actually there's a reason why prisons are segregated by biological sex, and it's not something that is particularly difficult to come to terms with. It's very strange, isn't it, Lewis, that she misread the room on this one, didn't she?
No, she has to go in that direction. Like we've been discussing for months and weeks, there's that silo mentality, as it was called on this show,
yes,
where you're in one silo or you're not. There's as I would say, there's no Venn diagram.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the middle. So she has to go with it, and eventually.
But interestingly, I think it's really scuppered her hopes of an independent Scotland, because of course the SNP and her entire domain has been to achieve that, and now her popularity, as we've just said, is down to -4. It doesn't look good for her, does it? She's going to have to go.
No, it never. You know what? That's the thing about politics. Why Louis Schaefer will never be in politics, because it always ends ugly.
Is that the reason?
It always ends ugly.
Is it because you refer to yourself in the third person?
Yeah.
Well, no, I meant Louis Schaefer as the performer artist.
The brand.
The comedian note is Louis Schaefer.
Can I just...
Yes, go on, John.
No, I'll just say the thing is, there's a lesson here for other politicians within the UK, because whilst her popularity has gone down in the SNP, Labour, interestingly, which is doing very well everywhere else, actually only went up, I think, 1 point, whereas the Tories in Scotland, who are the only ones who are actually opposing this bill, they went up 5 points. So this is a massive lesson for these other politicians, and I'm talking to UK Labour, to get on top of this, because they're still not ahead of the curve. Like, even this week, you saw them being interviewed, and they finally came out, and they'd obviously been briefed, and they were coming and go, no, obviously it's bad for rapists to be in prison. Like, well done. Like, they were, I'm telling you the truth. It was like, no, you're still not saying trans women aren't women. Trans women are trans women, need to be dealt with respect, fairness, and equality, but that does not make them women. And they're still not there yet.
I don't think Josh understands. There is no hope for this question because it's based on a falsehood. They have to.
There is hope because self-interest will always win out at the end.
Well, also, Lewis, I mean, the thing is, I mean, as Josh says, the problem is that I don't think Labour fully understood how unpopular it is to deny reality with the electorate.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that politicians can get away with lying, but they can't get away with lying about something even a child knows to be true. And like when Keir Starmer is asked what is a woman, he's like, oh, well, you know, it's complicated. Yeah. Or can a woman have a penis? Oh, well, you know, it's difficult. Just say, no, a woman can't have a penis. No, there are differences. Like the other day when Rishi Sunak was interviewed, what is a woman? He said, adult human female. Done. It's over. It's fine. So that's what, if Labour, and I know you're a big Labour fan, Josh, if they want to get in and actually...
Apart from this and the previous anti-Semitism. But apart from that, apart from massive fan.
The misogyny and anti-Semitism, you're OK with the part? Yeah, OK. It'll be very interesting to see what happens, but I do think Nicola Sturgeon, it's over for her. It's got to be, surely, at this point. Anyway, we shall see. I don't often get my political predictions right, to be fair. But we'll see what happens.